Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? Welcome back for another video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing our weekly update for my Canadian-based dividend investing portfolio. And in this update, I'll be showing you guys my entire portfolio. I'll show you guys how my portfolio has been doing. I'll show you guys my holdings, and I'll show you guys what brand new stock I'm actually going to be adding inside my portfolio in today's video. So if you guys want to see me grow my portfolio and be 100% transparent with you guys and how my dividend investing portfolio is growing and how I'm doing it, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I mentioned earlier, I usually do an update about once or twice a week where I kind of show you guys as the portfolio is growing and any kind of different changes and whatnot I'm making inside the portfolio. And if you guys do enjoy the video, please do me a big favor and smash the like button and subscribe if you guys want to be notified when my content goes live. And if you guys want to get set up with Wealthsimple Trade or use any of the programs that I talk about in this video, check out the description of the video. There's some affiliate links you guys can use to support the channel as well. Alright, so let's jump inside the Wealthsimple Trade portfolio and let's see how our stocks are doing for this week. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is the portfolio values. I'll go over how our portfolio has grown, and we've seen a pretty decent jump in the market over the past couple days, as I'll point out to you guys in just a second here. So you have $97,000 in total, just under 100K. 100K was basically our first goal with our portfolio, and we're almost there, and we'll have to make a new goal once we hit 100K, which would be really cool. I'm really excited to do that. We'll have to plan something special for when we hit 100K. But you guys can see we have two accounts that basically comprise of that money. We have a personal account with $7,332, which is the main one we've kind of been focusing on growing. And we have an older TFSA that has about $90,000. And this TFSA really jumped up over the past couple of days. You guys can see an 8% increase. We're almost up $7,000, which would be an all-time high on the portfolio, and it looks like things are still going up quite a bit. So we'll talk about the TFSA first, since it is the biggest account, and I'll just give you guys a quick little update on how it's grown over time. So over the past day, like I mentioned, up $458, which is 1% in total. So nice little growth today from the market opening up. We've seen a bit of a dip in some of the Canadian banks and stuff like that, so maybe that recovery is kind of coming in. And then over the past week, we're sitting at about zero, slightly up a little bit. Over the past month, we're up 1%, which is $1,278. As you guys can see, once your account grows, those 1% really make a big difference. Over the past 3 months, we're up 3%, which is $2,417. Over the past year, we're up 8%, and then all-time inside the portfolio, it's a little bit over 8%, sitting at $6,866 in total growth. Keep in mind, I did transfer a previous TFSA into this one, so all the gains aren't factored in since it was an old account with Wealthsimple Invest, but we had about, I think it was about $17,000 to $18,000 if we add the two accounts together, the total gains. So quite a bit different. Quite a bit of good gains there inside the two TFSAs, which is now the one TFSA account. And if we go to the personal account, this is a more accurate representation of what we've been investing in lately. And over the past day, once again, this one's up 1%, up $43. Over the past week, it's down -1. So that was a lot of the banks and some of those financial stocks that took a big hit there. Over the past month, we're at 0%. Past 3 months, we're up 2%, which is $177. So you guys can see nice, pretty consistent growth for the most part. And over the past year, it's about 4%, and then all-time should be the same, about 4%, $259. So even just after investing for like 3 to 4 months or 5 months, whatever it's been for this account, we've already got a 4% increase. So that's just the value of consistently investing your money over time and allowing it to grow in the stock market. Alright, so the brand new stock I'm going to be adding inside my portfolio today is going to be one. I think I talked about this stock a little bit in the past on the channel, but not that much. It is Power Corporation of Canada, and this is another finance-based company, of course. Can't seem to get enough of those. But this is basically an insurance-based company. They have some different wealth management services, so they manage people's money. They do all kinds of things like that. And this is a company that's been around for quite a while. If we go max here on Google, you can see they've been around since, I guess, the early 90s or so. And this company has had a pretty good past couple years. And one of the big reasons why I kind of was looking at this company is because they actually are one of the big holders of Wealthsimple. They own a big chunk of Wealthsimple. So I think that might actually kind of show some of that growth and why they've been doing really well. So I'm going to buy a little bit of this company today. I'm going to kind of look into it. I think they're a pretty cool company to kind of invest into, and I'm looking for some different stocks here. So I'll go over it really quickly so you guys can see some of the reasons why. But we have Power Corporation of Canada currently trading at $43 Canadian. That ticker is POW on the TSX if you guys want to look it up. And year to date, the stock is up. I'm just trying to bring these numbers up here. Year to date, the stock is up 48% year to date. So since the beginning of 2021 to now, the stock is up 48%, which is quite a bit. Over the past year, it is up 66%. Over the past 5 years, it's up 60%. A lot of that coming in over the past year or so since the bounce from the pandemic. And once again, I think that's a lot of people kind of going back to the basics, learning about investing, going online and stuff and using these different services and things like that. So I think that's where a lot of that growth is coming from. And max all time, the stock is up 823%. So, it's had an interesting year. Obviously the financial crisis put it down quite a bit, but the pandemic, it's kind of bounced it back up. So it's obviously trading at a pretty high number, but nonetheless, I still think it's a great stock, and the earnings have been pretty well, and I'll show you guys that later on in this video. So the dividend yield is sitting at about 4.3%, which is kind of, I'd say, an average dividend yield, especially for a finance-based stock. So let's take a peek at some other things like the dividend growth and other things that I always like to take a peek at. So one of the first things I'm going to highlight here, and this is the reason why this company has done so well, is that their earnings recently have really taken off. If you go to 2017, we can see the total revenue was 51,000 or 51 million, I should say, dollars, and then went to 48 and then 48 again. But look at 2019 to 2020, we've seen a huge jump to 64. So that's a big jump. And 2021, we should see more or less the same. And if you guys want a visual representation, I'll kind of bring it down here at the bottom of Yahoo Finance. I'm going to show you if you guys can see this graph here, but just gives you guys a representation of the total revenue in billions. So 51 billion, 48 billion, 48 billion, and 64 billion. So it's billion actually. Numbers can be a little confusing when you have a lot of them on the screen there, but lots of revenue increase in 2020, and we should see, if we go to quarterly, we can see 2021 here, a little bit of an increase as well. So the company's been performing pretty well as late, and I think, as people are going more online and looking into online brokerages and things like Wealthsimple becoming more popular, I think the stock will continue to kind of grow over time. And two other things we're going to talk about really quickly is going to be the dividend growth rate. This is the annual dividend growth rate. I'm a big fan of this. I like to see companies that are consistently growing that dividend on a yearly basis. And we look at the payout ratio so we can kind of predict, how sustainable that dividend growth rate is, and see if, they're kind of, in terms of like how much money they're paying out, if they're kind of in good standing there. So we'll talk about the growth rate really quickly here. So Guru Focus is a website that will show the average growth rate over the past 5 years, which gives us a good indicator of how aggressive they're growing their dividend. So we have 5-year dividend growth rate. Right here, we can see that the Power Corporation of Canada is right at 9.6%, which is pretty aggressive growth rate. I'd say anything over 6 or 5 is above average, and anything around 10 is kind of like that high yield. So they've been consistently growing their dividend by quite a bit here at 9.6%. So that's pretty cool. And with that 4% yield, we can say that it's pretty conservative for the most part, but we always want to check things like the payout ratios and the earnings and whatnot. So since we've seen a big increase in earnings in probably most likely 2021 as well, we can assume that they're going to have some more free money, and that we're of course going towards expanding the company, increasing that dividend yield over time. So as a dividend investor, you want to see companies growing their income, so they can support future dividend payments and whatnot, and just expanding the company. Payout ratio is 45%, which is pretty low. That means 45% of their earnings are going towards a dividend, so they have more than 50% of their income going back inside the business. So that 10% or the 10% so dividend growth rate is very sustainable, and we should see them keep doing that on a regular basis because they have such a low payout ratio. So I always like to look at those two, kind of compare the two together. So going back inside my Wealthsimple trade account, we'll make the trades for today. So I'm going to go inside the personal account here. We're going to go to POW. So just type this in the ticker up here. Once again, if you guys aren't familiar with Wealthsimple Trade, just type in the ticker or type in the stock name. Double check to make sure you have the right one. We can see POW, Power Corp of Canada, TSX. That's the one we want. So it's $43 a share. I'm going to be spending about $100 in my personal account, and then we'll probably take the rest of the money we have and just stick it into an ETF or something like that, like we usually do. So we'll be buying about, I'll go with 2 shares since about $86. Buy 2 shares of POW, put that through, and this is a stock I'm going to, oops, didn't mean to cancel that. We'll put that through, and this is a stock I'm going to kind of be buying little bits of it here and there. I'm not going to go super crazy with it. I just kind of want to get a holding in it and start buying it here and there. I want to start expanding this personal account and having more different dividend-based stocks and whatnot, to have a little bit more variety and diversification. We'll go back inside the personal account. We have $92 to spend today, so I'll probably just most likely stick it into VDY or something like that, just to kind of get it out there. I haven't invested into too many ETFs in this yet for a while, so I'll buy $80 worth of VDY, and that's going to be the last stocks I'm buying in today's video. And I'll give you guys a quick little update as well while I'm here on how our stocks have been doing. So we'll go back here really quickly, and here's all the different holdings inside my personal account. We'll go over the TFSA first. since it is the bigger account. So here's the TFSA. As you guys can see here, the biggest holdings we have are the two ETFs, so VFV and VDY. VFV is up 5.4%, which is $2,000, and then VDY is up 5.677%, which is about $1,433. So once again, because these are our biggest holdings, we're going to get the most gains from that, and this portfolios are mostly in Canadian high dividend yield stocks, and then the S&P 500, which are US growth stocks. So that's the main focus of the portfolio in the TFSA, and then the personal account is going to be more or less our Canadian stocks. So I'll switch over here to the personal account, and we have some of the more consistent ones like AQN, ATD.B, MFC. We now have Power Corp of Canada, brand new stock in there, TELUS, TD, VDY, and then VFE. We will be holding a little bit fewer or less shares of VFE inside our personal account, but we want to make sure we'll keep exposing ourselves to the US market. So that's the main plan for the portfolio. And I'll talk really quickly about the recent dividend payments of the portfolio. I don't think there's anything new from the last video, but nonetheless, we'll just update it. So we're the beginning of September. It's September 7th at the time of doing this video. We have two dividend payments for this month, one from Fortis for $6, then one from Enbridge for $2.51. If we go inside my spreadsheet, we can see that in total dividend income for the beginning of September is about $9.11. We should expect some bigger dividend payments coming up over the next couple days or so. And here's a little representation of the dividend portfolio in total in terms of this cool little graph here. You guys can see how the portfolio has basically been growing over time since we've been taking our dividend income and reinvesting it back in. And as you guys know, one of the big things I've been doing on this channel is I've been trying to live off my dividend income. For the most part, just kind of play around with it here. And as you guys can see, I do have this big spreadsheet of all the things I've been spending my money on. So I have the total cost here on the right side. Then I have some different things I've been buying. And last week in my previous video, I mentioned that I was buying some new things that I was going to use. And one of the things was a new chef's knife for the kitchen. And I did buy some new, two new cat bowls. So I added those. They came in the mail the other day. And that's kind of basically added to my sheet this week. So the knife itself was in a pretty cool case here, as you guys can see here. It came in a nice little case, so we took that off. And it's a pretty nice looking blade here. It's super light, it's super nice, it's sharp, pretty good. And as you guys can see, Cooper wants to come check it out here, knowing that the knives aren't safe for kitty cats. So I went ahead and chopped some tomatoes. I gave it a little test drive, and it's a pretty nice solid knife. So hopefully we can get some pretty good use. And I think it's well worth the $16 that I paid for it. It was on sale for $16.99 on Amazon. So I think it's a pretty good quality knife, and I definitely am happy with the purchase so far. And talking about the cat bowls, I wanted to get some stainless steel cat bowls for the cats, just as nothing in them. And once again, you know, Cooper being the little bugger that he is, trying to get into his food, we have the two food bowls here. So they're nice little ones. They're kind of on the lighter side, but for the price I paid, which was about $5 each, they got the job done. And I actually have to separate them to give them separate food because our older cat here, Chloe, actually has kidney disease. She's 14 years old and she's just been diagnosed with kidney problems, so we have to give her a special food. But she's doing good nonetheless. She's just getting kind of old kind of thing. But the two cats like the food bowls. Obviously, they don't really care, you know, where the food comes in as long as they get the food. So I wanted to pick up some new bowls for them so they weren't eating out of plastic or anything. You know, that's not really the best for them. So I got that for them. And yeah, the cats are enjoying it quite a bit. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to smash the like button if you guys enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more updates. Take care, have yourself a good week, and I'll see you guys later.